The late afternoon sun hung low over the dusty roadside, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. Cars rushed past like the world had no time to slow down for anyone, especially not for a trembling teenage girl standing beside a broken-down car with a flat tire. Her hands shook as she tried calling someone again and again, but each attempt ended the same way, no answer. Tears welled up in her eyes as the sound of honking traffic grew louder and more intimidating. She felt small, lost, and completely alone. That's when a worn-out pickup truck pulled over. Out stepped a man in his early 30s, his hands rough from years of hard work, his clothes stained with grease, and his eyes carrying both exhaustion and kindness. This was Armin, a single father and a mechanic who owned a tiny garage in town. He noticed the girl immediately, her fear, her helplessness, and without hesitation, he walked toward her with calm reassurance in his voice. "Hey, it's okay. Let me help you." At first, the girl hesitated. She had been warned not to trust strangers. But something about Armin felt safe. Maybe it was the gentle way he spoke, or maybe it was the way he kept a respectful distance while asking permission to help. She nodded. Armin quickly got to work. He examined the tire, then walked back to his truck and brought out his tools. The girl watched as he knelt on the hot asphalt, sweat forming on his forehead, but he didn't complain once. Instead, he kept a soft smile and even cracked a small joke to make her laugh. "What's your name?" he asked while loosening the bolts. "Aliza," she replied quietly. "Well, Aliza," Armin said, "you picked the wrong day to meet a stubborn tire. But don't worry, I'm more stubborn." For the first time in what felt like hours, Aliza smiled. As Armin worked, she told him she had gotten lost trying to find her way back from a school event. Her phone battery had died earlier, and when she tried to call for help using someone else's phone, no one picked up. She didn't know what to do. Armin listened carefully. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He simply kept working, showing through his actions that she wasn't alone anymore. Within minutes, the flat tire was replaced. Armin tightened the final bolt and stood up, wiping his hands on a cloth. "There you go, good as new." Aliza reached into her bag, searching for money. "Please, I want to pay you." Armin shook his head with a soft smile. "No need, just get home safe. That's enough for me." She looked at him in disbelief. No one had ever helped her without expecting something in return. Before leaving, Armin handed her a small card with his garage name written on it. "If you ever need help again, you can call me. And next time, make sure your spare tire has enough air too." Aliza nodded gratefully, her heart full. As she drove away, Armin watched until her car disappeared into the distance. He felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know where she came from. He just knew that helping someone in need was the right thing to do. He returned to his truck and drove back to his small garage, where his young son, Hamza, was waiting for him with a wide smile and open arms. "Abu, you're late." Armin picked him up and hugged him tightly. "I had to help someone, champ." Hamza grinned. "You always help people." Armin kissed his son's forehead, "because one day someone might help you too." That night, as Armin tucked Hamza into bed in their modest home, he had no idea that the simple act of kindness he had shown on that dusty roadside was about to change his life forever. Because far away, in a luxurious mansion filled with glass walls and shining chandeliers, a powerful billionaire mother had just received a phone call from her daughter, and everything was about to change. Inside one of the most luxurious homes in the city, Aliza's mother, Zara Khan, a self-made billionaire and CEO of a global empire, stood frozen as she listened to her daughter's voice trembling. On the phone, "Mom, I was stuck on the road, and a man helped me. He didn't even take money. He just helped me and left." Zara's expression shifted from concern to curiosity, then to something deeper respect. "Did you get his name?" she asked. "Yes, Armin, he's a mechanic." There was silence on the line for a moment. a mechanic who helped her daughter without expecting anything in return. Zara was a woman who had built her empire in a world where everything had a price. Kindness without conditions was something she rarely saw anymore. "Send me his details," she said. The next morning, Zara's team located Armin's small garage. It was modest, old, and barely surviving in a competitive market. But what they also discovered was something extraordinary. Armin had a reputation for honesty, fairness, and generosity. He often fixed cars for free for those who couldn't afford it. Zara decided she wanted to meet him. Later that afternoon, a line of luxury cars stopped outside Armin's garage. Neighbors gathered, whispering in shock. Armin stepped out, confused, wiping grease from his hands. When Zara stepped out of the car, dressed elegantly yet carrying a calm and respectful presence, he had no idea who she was. "Are you Armin?" she asked. "Yes," he replied. "I'm Aliza's mother." The realization hit him instantly. "Oh, is she okay?" Zara smiled softly. "She's more than okay. Because of you." Armin nodded humbly. "I just did what anyone would do." Zara shook her head. No, not everyone would. She looked around his small garage, noticing the old equipment, the cracked floor, and the faded sign. "Why didn't you take money from her?" she asked. Armin looked slightly surprised by the question. Because she needed help. That's all that mattered. Zara studied him for a moment. She had met thousands of people in her life, business partners, investors, powerful figures, but very few had the kind of genuine heart she saw in this man. She then said something that changed everything. "I want to invest in you." Armin blinked in disbelief. "Invest in me?" "Yes," Zara said. "I want to turn this small garage into one of the biggest and most trusted service centers in the city. I want to give you the resources, the tools, and the opportunities you deserve, not because you asked for it, but because you earned it through your character." Armin was speechless. He looked at his son, who stood near by, watching everything with wide eyes. "Why me?" Armin asked quietly. Zara smiled. "Because in a world full of people chasing money, you chose kindness. And that is worth more than any business deal I've ever made." Tears filled Armin's eyes. For years, he had struggled to make ends meet, raising his son alone, sacrificing his dreams just to survive. And now, because of one simple act of kindness, his life was opening doors he never imagined. Within months, Armin's small garage transformed into a state-of-the-art service center. He hired more staff, helped train young mechanics from poor backgrounds, and made sure no customer in need was ever turned away. But despite all the success, Armin never changed who he was. He still stopped for strangers on the roadside. He still fixed cars for free when someone couldn't afford it. He still taught his son that kindness is the greatest wealth a person can have. One day, during the grand opening of his new garage, Zara stood beside Armin and said something that echoed deeply with everyone present. "One act of kindness can change a life, but a life built on kindness can change the world." The crowd applauded. Armin looked at his son and smiled, and in that moment, he realized something powerful. He didn't just fix a flat tire. That day he fixed the direction of his entire life.